Today I'm in Stonehouse visiting Plymouth Food Bank, and I'm going to find out a little bit about the work that they've been doing within the communities. I know with the cost of living crisis at the moment, the work that they've been doing is really important, and I'm going to find out how the Food Bank and Club Combat can collaborate, and hopefully we can help people within our communities have access to food. So here is the food bank, and we're just on the corner of Manor Street and Adelaide Street, and I just parked around the corner, which is about a 10-second walk, and you get 2 hours of parking there. So this is where you'll find the food bank. Let's go inside. I'm here with Mark and Andrew, and we're going to find a little bit about what they do. Thanks for having me over today. So I'm here to find out a little bit about your organisation and what you guys do.
We are the Plymouth Food Bank Hub, what was once known as Oasis Centre and then the Oasis Project. But we're still in the same building down in Manor Street at Stonehouse. You'll find us just up from Jay's Scrapyard and close to Larry Spears.
And how long has the organisation been running?
So the project was originally set up in 1996. We are an outreach project on behalf of Plymouth Methodist Central Hall, which is the church in the city centre just behind Drake Circus there. So we wanted to do mission and outreach. As everybody knows, this area where we're located is one of the most deprived areas in the city. So the idea behind it was very much to support our local community here. And we introduced a whole series of different initiatives, which we'll touch on at a later point. But one of those was a food bank. So we approached Trussell Trust in 2008. And for those of you who don't know Trussell Trust, they're a national charity that help to support groups, community groups, churches, schools, whatever it may be, who want to set up a food bank. And they are immensely helpful in supporting us in so many different ways: resources, training, all kinds of things. So they helped us set this up in 2008. Back then we were only the 25th food bank in the whole of the UK. Today though, there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of food banks, pantries, kitchens, that kind of stuff, supporting people that find themselves in food poverty. And the food bank essentially has become by far our biggest initiative that we run here now. And so all the other things that we set up historically, they still run to this day, and they feel like they surround the food bank to support those accessing support through the food bank, and then we can obviously move them, signpost them on to the other stuff we do.
So the clients would come in through the door down here. Andrew, who you just saw earlier, meets them there. There's usually a greeter outside just to talk to people and make sure everybody's all right. They come in, see Andrew for 2 or 3 minutes. He gains as much information around dietary needs, pets, cats, etc. And then they come in here where their requirements go out to the pantry, and this area here we supply and buy fresh in veg, bread, eggs, salad stuff, and they go over there and then they get to have a bag of fresh stuff to take with them as well. Once they've got that, take a seat, have a chat with somebody, and then when their stuff's ready, it comes out and they go.
And is there any set criteria of who can use the food bank?
No set criteria, because the people that are using food banks now has changed considerably from 10 years ago, when it was mainly people that were out of work on benefit. Now it's across the board. We had a nurse come off a night shift last week who hadn't eaten for 3 days so she could ensure her children had eaten. We have a pensioner coming in today who's got no heating in their home. So it's a case of supplying them. So it's right across the board, the type of people that we're now meeting. This is the pantry. So this is what we would call our shop. So when we're open for food bank on food bank days, we'll have 2 to 3 volunteers working out here. And the client comes in, we get their request, and then their bags are filled out here and then passed out into the area outside. This is what we call our vault. And so everything comes in and is weighed in, and then it's sorted by date and year and product. And we have a manager that runs out here with a team of volunteers, and they sort through everything, date it, stack it, and then there's the pantry shelves cleared, so they reply them like you would in a normal shop.
Does this work on like a stock rotation basis? How do you kind of figure it all out?
It does indeed. So essentially, we rely completely on food donations to support the project as a whole, and we, as a general guide, we get approximately 120,000 kilos of food donated, or indeed we have to purchase from money that has also been donated to us per annum per year. So 120,000 kilos a year, and in a general year it's probably about the same amount given out to support others as well. So on our books we've got close to about 45 active volunteers, but some of them are actual supporting us on food bank sessions. Others are in the background, as it were, in locations like here, or indeed supporting some of the other initiatives that we run here at the project. And then we've got a wonderful band of volunteers who also do like collections for us from supermarket collection points, as an example. Delivery drivers as well. When we're delivering food parcels to people. Just over 45 active volunteers.
The message quite clearly within the food bank hub is that all people are valued, and that no one should be in food poverty and should have to go without food whatsoever. Our value is quite simply, we're here to meet your need, and we will help you through that, and also direct you on from here to other agencies and supports that can also help you get to grips with why you're in that situation.
And why did you start your journey with the food bank?
So my journey started just under 4 years ago when I had the opportunity to come here as project coordinator. I'd worked in many different corporate backgrounds over the years, all great stuff, but I never necessarily felt that I had a purpose in my day-to-day. I wanted to support others. Whilst, as I say, what I was doing was amazing, I just felt that I needed to do something that allowed me to love and support other people. So the opportunity to come here as project coordinator was just the best thing I could ever wish for, really, if I'm truly honest.
Yeah, my journey started 10 years ago. I ended up in a bed sit in Callington. I'd lost everything. I had a drink problem, a gambling problem, and I'd gone out for a walk one day, and a lady in her 80s invited me into an old Methodist chapel. I went in and I felt welcomed. About 3 or 4 months later, they offered me the opportunity to volunteer in the food bank in Callington, and I started volunteering down there. While dealing with my own issues, I realised that actually there was more to life than just myself. And they then took me on and gave me a job where I was employed for 4 years until I moved back to Plymouth. And then a month ago, I took over running the lead here as the lead manager, Plymouth Food Bank manager.
So obviously we're a food bank which provides emergency support in the form of food to support those that are obviously in food poverty. But it might seem strange actually coming from a food bank. The food actually isn't necessarily our priority. What really is our priority, why we're here really, is when people come here for support in the format food, it's an opportunity for us to get alongside them, have that conversations. Our priority is to really understand what those underlying issues are that brings people to us in the first instance. You know, what are those main, if you like, root causes that are causing them concern. So what we've done is as a project as a whole, we've introduced a number of different services that kind of relate to the typical trends, if I can use that word, of the reasons for people that need support through the food bank. So for example, we've been really blessed this year to receive a grant through Trust, which allows us to have a full-time Citizens Advice Bureau person present. They offer a huge variety of information and support where they can signpost people, support people in their financial situations or their social situations. So that is probably by far our biggest support program to date that we've actually been able to introduce. But that aside, as a project, we do educational stuff. So we do English. We're hoping to reintroduce maths and IT. We have some great tutors who come along and offer their services to us to support people. Debt, financial issues is obviously one of the biggest reasons as to why people come to the food bank. So we are really blessed to have Plymouth Focus here, a wonderful guy called Les who supports lots and lots of different people through their financial situations, contacts debtors, creditors to obviously understand and see if there are ways in which whoever they're supporting, their financial situation can be made a little bit easier. We run other kind of life skill programs as well, art. We have in the past done things like cookery, where people come along and obviously learn how to cook. As I say, really valuable life skills learned there. We have a job club, as we call it, so we have members of the Department of Work and Pensions who attend on a Friday morning. It used to be work club, but it's where we'd support people back to work, creating CVs, looking for work itself, maybe mock interviews, all that kind of stuff. But also, more importantly now, it's being used as a safe space where people can attend and talk to members of the Department of Work and Pensions, where otherwise they would obviously feel awkward or anxious about attending a job centre.
Yep, just following on from what Andrew said there, those are great projects and great opportunities. We also run a coffee morning on a Tuesday morning from 10 o'clock, and that's open to anybody that wants to come in and just sit, have a cup of coffee, have a natter. They get a sandwich as well at lunchtime. If they wish to stay for lunch, they can. We're also in the process of looking at revamping all our IT system throughout the hub here, because it is a little bit antiquated now, to say the least, so that we can review IT training, also linking with parents that are homeschooling and allow them to come in and use the equipment. I'm in discussion at the moment with a hairdresser about coming in and doing hairdressing and beauty technique tips as well. So at the moment we're just looking at any opportunity we've got to serve the whole person, and that's really what we're about. We recognise that people are, they're made up of a body, of a mind and of a soul, and we want to reach all three of those areas, and that's our mission, is to reach the whole person. First and foremost, through turning up at Club Combat and donating a tin. Secondly, if you're in and around the area, we're open Monday to Friday from 9 in the morning to 3:30 in the afternoon, and you'd be welcome to call in with your donation. From 1 tin to 100 tins, we don't mind. Also, if you wanted to find out a little bit more, then you can go online to our website, or you can email either Andrew or myself at info@plymouth.foodbank.org.uk.
Yeah, so as Mark says, tins are brilliant packets as well. So the food parcels essentially are made up of non-perishable items. So any tins, packets, that includes even things like pasta, baked beans. Historically, we were always inundated with that, and we always had a pasta mountain or a baked bean mountain. But actually now, due to demand being so high, we're actually getting low even on those kind of items that we've historically always had surplus of. And that's what we're generally finding at the moment. The demand is really high. We're probably on certain food bank sessions that we run each week. We run 4 sessions a week, by the way, each of 2 hours. And we would normally feed maybe 50-60 people maximum in a 2-hour period. We're now in a situation where we're doing easily way over 100 people in a session. Sadly though, because of cost of living, donations have dropped significantly. We're approximately down by about 85-86% on our donations. So what that is resulting in is us having to go out and purchase food now. We are still really blessed. Financial donation, which is another way in which you can donate, has maintained and been pretty steady. So we've got those pennies, which is allowing us now to purchase food to ensure that we've got sufficient food available to cater for the demand that we're seeing. That does equate to several £1000s a week though. So At the moment, we're okay, as I say, because we're so blessed by people's kindness in donating money to us. But the short, medium, certainly the long term, is not a sustainable thing. So we'd be grateful of any donations people can give. And just to put it into perspective as well, we're feeding just over 13,000 people a year, and that equates to way over 112,000 meals.
And we're also in the process of trying to buy an allotment or a piece of land, so that we've got about 4 families that are really keen and want to grow their own. So we've got a person who's overseeing the project for me, but we're just looking for a piece of land at this moment.
Well, guys, thanks so much for having me here. I found it really eye-opening when you actually hear it as statistics like that. I knew that we would be in a tricky situation because of the cost of living, but I didn't actually know how bad it was and how many people you help each week. And it's quite sad to hear that actually the donations is dropping because of the situation that we're in. So I suppose that was something that I knew was going to be was going to be a problem, and that's why I thought it was really, really crucial for Club Combat and the food bank to team up and collaborate. But actually, now I've spoken to you guys, I realise, how much it might make a difference. So Club Combat is community-based fitness. It's always been about the whole person. It's always been about the mindset and the well-being, not just the fitness side of it. So hopefully together we can come up and really benefit the community. So can I count on you guys to join us for a session?
Absolutely, I shall be there.
Brilliant. Let's make sure we bring the energy, and hopefully we can really make a difference to the community. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having me here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.